Imagine waking up 10 years from today, not in a dream, not in some fantasy version of your life, just a normal Tuesday morning. You open your eyes, you reach for your phone, you look at your bank account, and for a second, you realize something. Your financial life didn't suddenly become this way. There wasn't one terrible decision, there wasn't one massive mistake. It happened quietly, one decision at a time. And the strange part is, the person who built that life was you. Just 10 years earlier, that's the uncomfortable truth about money. Your future isn't waiting for you somewhere in the distance. You're building it right now, with decisions that barely feel important. Think about something you did today. Maybe you spent $20 without thinking about it. Maybe you told yourself you'd start investing next month. Maybe you ignored the extra money sitting in your account. Maybe you chose convenience because you were tired. None of those decisions feels like it's changing your future, and that's exactly why they matter. Because your brain is terrible at feeling the consequences of small decisions that happen far away. $20 doesn't feel like a future problem. One missed investment doesn't feel like a future problem. 1 month of waiting doesn't feel like a future problem. But repeat the same decision hundreds of times, and suddenly, you're not looking at a small decision anymore. You're looking at a completely different life. There's a psychological reason for this. Researchers have found that people often struggle to emotionally connect with their future selves. You can understand the future logically without actually feeling connected to the person you'll become. Your brain treats tomorrow you almost like another person, and that creates a strange situation. Today's you gets the reward, tomorrow's you gets the consequence, today's you gets the dinner, tomorrow's you gets the smaller bank account, today's you gets the upgrade, tomorrow's you gets the monthly payment, today's you gets to say, I'll deal with it later, and future you doesn't get a vote, at least not today. Now imagine something. Imagine your future self sitting across from you, 10 years older, same face, just different eyes. They've experienced everything you're about to experience. They know which decisions worked. They know which opportunities you ignored. They know which habits quietly became expensive, and they ask you one question. What are you doing with the time I gave you? You might want to say, I'm trying, and maybe you are, but then they ask, then why do you keep making decisions that make my life harder? That's where this gets uncomfortable, because future you isn't judging you, they're living with your choices. This is why saving and investing can feel strangely difficult. The reward belongs to someone you can't see. The sacrifice belongs to you right now. You give up something today, so a person who doesn't even exist yet can have more freedom later. Your brain doesn't naturally love that deal. It prefers rewards it can experience immediately. That's called temporal discounting. The further away a reward is, the less emotionally valuable it feels. $5 today can feel more real than $50 years from now, even when you know the math says otherwise. Your brain understands the future, but your emotions live in the present, and money decisions happen right at that intersection. Now fast forward again. It's 10 years later. You didn't become wildly successful. You didn't completely fail either. You simply continued. You earned a little more. You spent a little more. You saved sometimes. You delayed investing sometimes. You made good decisions, and plenty of ordinary ones. Nothing dramatic. That's the point. Now, look at the result. Maybe you have more freedom. Maybe you have less. Maybe unexpected expenses don't scare you anymore. Or maybe every unexpected expense still creates anxiety. Maybe you can leave a job you hate. Maybe you can't. Maybe money gives you options. Or maybe money still controls your options. And the difference between those two futures wasn't created 10 years from now. It was created in hundreds of ordinary moments when nobody was watching. Here's another uncomfortable idea. Your future self doesn't need you to become perfect. They don't need you to stop enjoying life. They don't need you to never spend money. They don't need you to become obsessed with investing. They need something much simpler. They need you to stop treating every financial decision as if it only affects today, because it doesn't. Every dollar has a timeline. Every habit has a direction. Every repeated decision is taking you somewhere. You may not notice the movement because you're standing inside it. But 10 years from now, the direction becomes obvious, and this works in the opposite direction too. One automatic investment, one emergency fund, one debt payment, one decision to wait before buying something, 1 month of keeping your lifestyle below your income. These things don't feel life-changing. They're almost boring, but boring decisions repeated for years can create extraordinary outcomes. That's the part people underestimate. Wealth usually doesn't announce itself while it's being built. It looks like ordinary people making ordinary decisions for a very long time. So here's the question. If you could meet yourself 10 years from now, what would you want them to thank you for? Not your income, not your job title, not the things you bought, the decisions, the moments when you could have chosen comfort, but chose freedom instead. The moments when you could have spent everything, but left something for tomorrow. The moments when you didn't feel ready, but started anyway. Because your future self won't remember the money you almost saved. They'll live with the money you actually kept. They won't remember the investment you planned to make. They'll live with the one you actually started, and they won't care how many times you said, "I'll do it later." They'll only experience whether you did. So go back to that Tuesday morning. 10 years from now, you wake up, you reach for your phone, you check your bank account, and you realize this life didn't happen by accident. It was built quietly, decision by decision, habit by habit, dollar by dollar. And for a moment, you remember the person you used to be, the person watching this video right now, the person who had no idea exactly where life was going, but who had something incredibly valuable, time and a choice. That's the part people forget. Your future isn't fixed, but it is being influenced every single day. So don't ask yourself, how do I become wealthy someday? Ask something more useful. What would the person I want to become want me to do today? Because 10 years from now, you will meet that person. The only question is, will they be grateful that you started today? Or will they wish you had